Hello everybody and thank you for joining us on this Gradcracker webinar with AECOM. So AECOM advertise their degree apprenticeship, placement, internship and graduate opportunities on Gradcracker, which are all now live. So during the webinar, our aim is to find out more about AECOM. We will talk about who they are, what they do and also what opportunities you, our STEM students, can apply for this year on Gradcracker. Starting with our contact Jackie from the Early Careers team, we'll have an introduction to the business and also their fantastic opportunities. We will then speak to the students about what life is like for them, what projects they have worked on, if they're involved in any networking groups, what training and development they have received, and also their future plans. We will then come back to Jackie towards the end of the webinar and discuss the recruitment process and giving you an insight into how you can be successful. And we'll also speak to the graduates as well about how they did their research, how they prepared for the interview, and also how they prepared for starting the job. If you've attended the webinars before in this season, thank you for joining us, and I hope you attend all the webinars to come. And thank you if you've submitted any questions, and we will be covering those and asking Jackie and the team those today. So let's start and meet AECOM. And Jackie, we were discussing before, we've worked together 16 years now.
Yes.
But our first webinar together, so I'm excited about that. So give the people who are watching an introduction to you and what you do at AECOM.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm an early careers recruitment specialist.
Yeah.
I have been with AECOM for almost 27 years. I am very passionate about helping to fill early career roles, in particular because I now have two young adults myself who I've helped navigate through the education system.
Yeah.
So one has completed their studies and a graduate program and is now in full-time employment, and the other is a freshers.
Oh,
So with regards to the roles that we have, we've got a lot of roles on the Gradcracker hub. I think at last count, it looked like 109 graduate roles and several placements that were up there, as well as degree apprenticeship.
I'm just doing my sums, Jackie, you are right.
I looked yesterday,
Yeah.
but the main thing to point out is that there are more being added daily. So the key message here is if you apply, if you pass our assessment test, but find you don't progress further, it may just be because your skill set does not match that particular role. However, there are more roles that are coming continually. We keep opening them up, so do please keep looking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for our 25-26 campaign across the UK and Ireland, we're seeking approximately 250 graduate apprenticeships, which graduates and apprentices, which is almost identical to our FY25.
Yeah.
We're looking for about 100 placements, which will be a mix of 6 to 12 weeks for the summer or 6 to 12 months industry placements. And some may not be live now. We're concentrating on getting all our graduate roles up on the systems, but they will follow if they're not there already. And as you know, through the Gradcracker Hub and our early careers brochure, there's an email address that you can write into if you want to inquire about those.
Perfect.
So in terms of what we're looking for, it's talented graduates and undergraduates across approximately 35 disciplines. So they include civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, building services, industrial, fire, sustainable buildings engineering, as well as quantity building surveying, project management, planning design, and a wealth of other STEM and energy related fields. So there's lots of information on our early careers brochure, which can be accessed via the Gradcracker Hub. Yeah, that's an insight into the roles that we've got. Shall I give you a bit of a background into AECOM?
Yes, just bear with me, Jackie, because I just want to mention to the students, so you are adding opportunities to the AECOM hub on a daily basis. Absolutely. I can vouch for that. I keep getting the emails coming in. I'm like, oh, there's some more, keeping on adding them. So big shout out to our customer relations team who work so hard at adding all of these opportunities. They are absolutely amazing. So well done, team. But I just want to kind of reiterate what Jackie's just mentioned. So there are opportunities which are now live on the AECOM hub on Gradcracker. If you have a look and it's not the opportunities aren't quite right for you to apply to, make sure you follow them on Gradcracker, and then you will receive an alert, a push notification, an email as soon as those opportunities are live. So it's worth doing that as well, just to make sure you don't miss out on that perfect job. So Jackie, yeah, keep going. Who is AECOM?
AECOM. Okay, so background into AECOM. We're global, operate in over 150 countries, 420 offices, and at the moment that's about 56,000 staff worldwide. 7,000 staff in the UK and Ireland in over 29 offices. What makes us stand out? So AECOM differentiates itself through its global reach, its end-to-end project delivery, and leadership in sustainability and environmental engineering. So while some competitors excel in digital innovation and engineering and sustainable design, AECOM combines those strengths with unmatched scale, financial stability, and a strong track record delivering complex projects worldwide. So because we're multidisciplinary, we have people from diverse backgrounds brought together by our common goal, which is to deliver a better world. And for me personally, not being a technical person, I love the fact that our projects, the ones that we work on, do make a positive impact on people's lives. That's really important to me. And it comes out in many of our staff surveys about how proud we are with the work that we do. So yeah, we've got competitive benefits. Some of that work on some of the biggest and most technical challenging infrastructures projects that are essential to improving our communities. Positive culture of collaboration and a connected global network. Your CV, if you work for us, will always stand out, the AECOM brand. And our people are our most important asset. We are a consultancy, so it's kind of embedded in our culture to protect and develop our people. Yeah, that gives you an insight, hopefully.
It does. Thank you very much, Jackie. And like Jackie just mentioned, there's lots of opportunities available on the hub with lots of different locations as well. So you mentioned about your locations in the UK. All of those details are on the AECOM hub on Gradcracker and all within the job descriptions as well. So you can really filter down by your discipline and by the location that you want to work for. So well worth going and having a look at the hub. And Jackie, you've just flipped the itinerary on it to its head, so I'm just scanning through now what my next question would be. Keeping me on my toes, that's usually Jessica's job, but thank you, I've got two of you now. So you mentioned about your love of AECOM and what sets you aside. So we did have a question from Kyle at Oxford Brookes University, so thank you, Kyle. And he wants to know what makes AECOM different and stand out to the other consultancies. But do you feel like you've answered that question?
I do, yeah. I kind of preempted that, so if that's okay, yeah, I think I've covered it. But I'm sure our grads will go into more detail about what made it stand out for them too.
No, that's absolutely fine. Perfect. Thank you, Jackie. A couple more questions on the opportunities, if I can. So, the roles, can a student apply to more than one role, or do they just need to focus on that specific opportunity?
They can apply to more than one role, but focus on the skill set for that particular role. So match your skills, what you've got, what you can bring to that role. When I'm looking and when my colleagues are looking at a CV, we can't put you in front of a hiring manager unless we can see where that matches, or where that's that direct correlation. So yeah, do focus on matching yourself to the role, and you can apply to more than one, two, three if you want to, but if you just make sure you've got that skill set and you're applying uniquely to that role.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. Thank you, Jackie. So we'll come back to Jackie towards the end of the webinar to discuss everything recruitment process wise and hints and tips. And now, Jessica, I'm going to hand over to you. So Jessica is going to speak to the graduates about their journey so far.
Perfect. Thank you, Cal, and thank you, Jackie, for that fantastic introduction. Okay, so I want to speak to you first, Jack, if that's okay. So I want to find out a little more about what you studied at university, where you chose to study there, and yeah, tell me a little bit about university life for you.
Yeah, so I'm a mechanical engineering graduate from Glasgow University. So I went and done an MNs there. Really enjoyed it. Glasgow's a great place to live. It's a really fun city, and so much so I'm actually not working still in Glasgow. I'm not from Glasgow. No, I'm from Edinburgh. But yeah, just have quite a lot of family through here. Really wanted to make the move. And yeah, I loved it so much that I'm still here.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
love
I'm
that.
at AECOM now. I've got a graduate job with AECOM, and yeah, it's really exciting to be able to kind of put what I learned at uni as a mechanical engineer into practice here at AECOM. Like, I'm a mechanical engineer. In my team, I work in the water industry, which, if just glancing at the news, you can see there's quite a lot of work going. So we're not short on work at all. In fact, there probably is a lack of people in this sector. So it's a really, really exciting time to get involved. And yeah, loving it.
Good. And is it what you expected? I always like to ask this question because I think from a student's perspective, what you think the graduate world's going to look like, the projects you're working on, is it what you imagined it to be so far?
Yeah, it's really like, it's very real world application. As Jackie said, the projects that I've been a part of, you really can see it's going to be beneficial and positive for not only the community, but also like the environment. It's really like, it's critical national infrastructure, so it's really rewarding work, and I'm enjoying it. The office culture, again, Jackie touched on that. I'm sure we will continue to talk about it, but it's like a great place to work. Everyone's really supportive and all that.
Yeah, no, that's nice to hear, Jack. And sorry, how long have you been at AECOM now for?
So I've only just been here actually over a year. So we've now actually got the new graduate started in the team, which is really actually quite fun for us. In terms of getting him on board, there's quite a lot of development, even in teaching him. It really is. It's quite a full circle moment. It feels not that long ago that I was coming in the door not knowing a whole lot, but it feels in a year it's very clear to see how much I've learned, which is brilliant.
You're an oldie now then, Jack. You're out of furniture now, which is nice. I can imagine that though. That must be a lovely, kind of like you say, a full circle moment to then see the next lot coming in and thinking that was me only a year ago. So you're enjoying it. Yeah, you're having a great time.
Definitely, yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, Jenny, I'm going to come to you next. Similar kind of questions, if that's okay. What's your name? Where'd you come from? And what did you study at university and why?
Yeah, so I studied mechanical engineering in Queen's University, Belfast. I went to Queen's in Belfast because I'm from a place called Donegal in Ireland, and it's kind of the closest city, but we used to like go there on random school trips. It was very exciting. Belfast was a big day out, so always loved the city, so I just went there. And then my degree was mechanical engineering. Before I went to university, I looked into the course, and the course seemed very hands-on, practical. The modules seemed really interactive, so that seemed like a win-win for me.
Yeah,
I was there for 5 years, did an integrated master's, and then took the job offer at AECOM, and then moved over to Scotland, and I'm now based in the Glasgow office just with Jack. So it's pretty good.
Fantastic. So you guys start exactly the same time then?
I started just under 2 years ago, so I was the grad of Jack. So it was kind of like the
you were watching.
I'm the grandparent now at this point.
Yeah.
Wow,
You're catching Jackie up at this rate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not that Jackie's old.
Oh, I'm old. You don't want to be me.
So yes, Jenny, so in terms of the role then so far, so tell me a little bit about your role. What's your job title now and what is life looking like for you?
Yes, so I am a renewable energy engineer, and I'm specifically in the solar team in the renewables world, I guess. So I'm working on a lot of large scale ground mounted solar developments all across the UK and Ireland. So that's like very, very fun, exciting projects. I'm on site all the time. So it's very hands-on, very practical, kind of like a mechanical engineer's dream. Even though mechanical engineering into electrical engineering of solar was a massive learning curve.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, it was that first like couple of months was definitely learning loads, being super out of my depth, but the team are super supportive, and then I've learned so much. And then the past like 2 years, I'm fully fledged solar engineer. So yeah, it's been great. It's been really, really good.
Jenny, not to sound negative, but did that not put you off initially, thinking, am I going to know enough? How am I going to be able to apply what I've learned to this role? Why did you then apply to it?
So the role itself was just renewable energy engineering graduate. So they were accepting mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, the whole lot. And I was definitely nervous for the interview, saying that, look, my electrical engineering knowledge is very, very limited. So it's going to be quite a learning curve for me at the beginning. But they're like, the team were super supportive. Like 2 or 3 of the seniors or principals were also mechanical engineers who now like know everything inside and out. They seem to be geniuses, but the support was absolutely there for me the whole way through to pick up the ropes, learn as I went along. So although it was very daunting in the beginning, like everyone was very supportive and I was able to pick it up pretty quick. I think that's also the beauty of engineering as well. Like you're just set up, like all the courses are all very different, but you're set up to just be able to problem solve and like put the head down when the work needs to get done, you just get it done. And
you know, and that's one of the reasons why I said that, Jenny, to you and asked that question, because, you know, again, speaking to students as much as I do on a daily basis, it's something I'm just trying to say on repeat. Keep an open mind at this point. Where you are now to where you're going to be next year, in 2 years' time, you might never even consider you could get to that spot. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Amen to that. So that's going to be another snippet. I'm going to use. Listen to these guys. Thank you for that, Jenny. Callum, I'm going to come to you. Introductions, please, if that's okay. Sorry to come to you last, but yes, a similar question. So, where did you go to university? What did you study, and the rest of it?
Hi everyone, I'm Callum. I went to university at Edinburgh Napier, so it's a hat trick for Scottish-based people here. Yeah, I originally done a BEng in civil engineering, and then panicked and went back for a year to do a master's in transport planning and engineering. So yeah, there was quite a lot in civil engineering that I ironically didn't quite enjoy, but I knew I enjoyed the transport side of it. So I went and spoke to a guy called Kenny who ran our course, and I was like, what can I do? And he put me on to the masters, and that masters has led me here to AECOM. So it's kind of it's worked out for the best. So fair play to Kenny on that one.
Well done, Kenny. Shout out to Kenny.
Yeah, so
yeah,
so I'm just based in the Edinburgh AECOM office, and I work as a transport planner here.
Brilliant. And are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's great. I think you asked a question earlier, was it what expected? And I'd say no, but in a good way. I expected it to be, I don't know how to put this in the right way. I expected it to be more pressure and more intense, but the people in the team and just across AECOM are very good at just allowing you the time, especially as a graduate, to kind of just get to grips with things and kind of put your stamp on things, but guide you where needed. So it's been a great place to come and develop, and I couldn't recommend it more, to be honest.
Callum, I love that. That's like, you know, again, such a good point though, because sometimes, and not to speak on students' behalf, but again, just because I speak to them on a daily basis, is that, you know, the worry all the time is that going into these graduate positions, am I supposed to know everything? You know, should I have the answers to all this? Should I be an absolute whiz in my particular subject that I'm studying? Should I, like I say, have all the answers? And the fact that you've just said that is just probably quite reassuring to a lot of people as well, to know that actually you've got time. You don't have any pressure straight off. You can, you know, settle and then, you know, take on those roles and do what you want to do, the space and time you want to do it. I'm guessing you've had that support then, that development throughout, to feel as though you can ask the questions. If you wasn't sure anything, there was someone there to ask.
Yeah, like my team's brilliant. Like transport's kind of split up into different sectors, and there's people in all of those areas that you can go ask questions to. And it's a cliche, but there genuinely is not any dumb questions. And like the people here want you to succeed. We all work together in a group and a team. And so yeah, it is incredibly supportive. Just to echo what Jack and Jenny have said. Yeah, couldn't recommend more.
Well done. And Callum, sorry, how long have you been in your role for now?
Just over 2 years now.
Over 2 years. So you're in Jenny's camp. Again, old hats now, you know what you're doing. Okay, so next I want to talk a bit about projects. So Jack, I'm going to come to you on this one. So we talked a little bit about training development, but in more detail, can you tell me about the projects that you've been involved in so far, or anything maybe that's particularly stood out to you?
Yeah, so something that is like a total plus of working like somewhere like AECOM is the fact that we are such a big global consultancy, so you do get projects coming in from all over the place. And as part of that, whilst we've had stuff going on in Scotland, I get the opportunity to go to site. I find these really useful and able to see things that I design in the office in the real world. I kind of see ones which have been built bang on exactly how we want them to see, and I see how they work and why they're kind of designed like that. I also see ones which are maybe not done quite so right, not by us, but we go and inspect on these jobs, so we're not the contractors, we're just the kind of mediators. We hand over to Scottish Water and approve these assets to be incorporated. So we've not been involved in those ones, but you can see, you know, things where they do go wrong and maybe how that's came about, and you can have that in the back of your mind for your office-based design work, which is really useful. And also just seeing like the actual physical pieces of equipment and how it kind of ties in. So mechanical engineering and the water sector anyway has got a lot of tie-ins with civil engineering and electrical engineering, and it's just going on site I find very useful. So loads of opportunities to do that, which I'm very grateful for. But more so in the office, the big design work I've been a part of has actually not been in Scotland. It's been further down south, down the country. So my first big project, I've had wee ones here and there that I've kind of helped with, but my first big project was the upgrade of a wastewater site. And I'll admit that really before I came to this job, I hadn't really given too much thought about what happens to things when they go down the drain and all that. And it is quite interesting, actually. It's obviously quite a big hot topic at the minute, but it's very, there's a lot of stuff that's in there which comes up that you don't really expect to be an issue that is actually like a problem. There's so much problem solving that happens on the job. And to basically go back to what Callum says, as a graduate coming in, it could be very daunting, but it really isn't, because you're surrounded by such supportive colleagues that you can just go to them with anything you come across. They can explain stuff. You, as a graduate, have the opportunity to like push back a bit. So in terms of challenging, okay, maybe why does that work? Or actually starting a proper conversation and hashing stuff out. Everyone has got the time for it. They give you the time. Likewise, I give like other people when they come to me the time. It's such a collaborative place here, and it is it's just really fun, you know. So that one was wastewater. I learned quite a lot from that, and then off the back of that, now I've been involved over the last 4 or 5 months in water treatment works in Wales. So that's a very different it was very different in terms of what's going through it. But there's a lot of things that I can learn that I've learned in my first big project, and I'm now applying in my second project. And just the application of that is just so much smoother, because it's not my first time seeing it, and it feels really good, because I do feel like I'm getting into the role. You're just building that kind of knowledge, and it's really fun to be a part of. And just interfacing, as I'm saying, mechanical interfaces with quite a lot of other stuff. And so on a water treatment site, there is the process engineers that talk about chemicals, and things do get a wee bit kind of outside where your core base of knowledge is coming from uni, but it's just a great talking to people who are in their own fields. It's just a really good, positive and rewarding experience working towards what ultimately is the best solution that we think for our problem for our clients.
Absolutely. The word thrown around already, and we're only 20 minutes in, is being a problem solver. And something that, you know, I've seen a lot in the job descriptions, Jackie, you know, the AECOM job descriptions, you're looking for a good problem solver, aren't you? So Jack, and I'm sorry, Calla, throwing a curveball out there into the application process, but just whilst I've got you, Jack, in your application to AECOM, was you saying that you're a good problem solver? And how was you evidencing that you're kind of a bit passionate about sorting problems out, whether it would be relevant to the water sector, relevant to the degree subject you've studied, or was it extracurricular activities you mentioned? But students ask me all the time, how can I evidence I've got this skill? How did you evidence that in your application? And again, sorry, this isn't a planned question.
No worries. Yeah, really, I had not actually done an internship through uni. It's not something I kind of planned on getting to the end of uni, having not done one, but just because of COVID, that didn't work out. There was other things I wanted to do. So I ended up applying without an internship, which means I didn't really have any kind of industry-based skills or experience. But there's so much stuff here coming from uni, you know, group projects are a great one for collaborating, evidencing that you can work with others. There's so much problem solving comes up at uni that I'm sure at this stage, if you're applying for a job or an internship, you've already got like a great resource of examples there. But also what I kind of went with in my application was, although I hadn't done an internship, I've done quite a lot of work in a lot of different sectors, so like bars or supermarkets or working with children. Is you know, there's a lot of curveballs comes up when you're working with children. Things you have to think on your feet and all that. So I talked quite a lot about just problem solving in these kind of jobs as well. And you know, they're relevant, they're still relevant. I stand by that. And
definitely.
I wouldn't shy away from using them.
Yes, brilliant.
Teed you up there. Perfect answer. Thank you. Because again, I think sometimes students do the look at these job descriptions and think, yeah, but is that something I need to show off about?
Yeah.
Absolutely you do, but
definitely.
And I can think, how can I evidence that? So perfect answer there. So thank you, Jack, for that. But in terms of training development, it sounds like you've had that. You've got a support network around you. You can ask those questions. Is there anything in particular that maybe you've said, you put your hand up for and said, can I have a little bit more training development on that? Or do you think you've been supported throughout?
Well, a lot of it is kind of training on the job. So you're just put in, say, like thrown in at the deep end, but as I said, you are supported like the whole way, and it's always there if you need it. But that is really the best way of learning, is to just immerse yourself in it. But also stepping back from that, AECOM does have a huge resource of like lecture type material. They have a program called AECOM University, which there's thousands and thousands of different things on, whether it's about like developing yourself as a kind of professional or team building or anything. There's so much, but there's also the kind of core job specific stuff as well. So yeah, I've had a wee look on them where I've kind of needed and wanted to kind of look a wee bit deeper at things. And there's loads of resources available to you at AECOM.
Amazing. Perfect. Thank you very much, Jack. Jenny, I'm going to come to you if that's okay. Similar kind of questions. Tell me in a little bit more detail about the projects and things that you've been involved in so far.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, I'm in the solar team. So a lot of my projects, well, most of my projects are solar based. If that's small rooftop feasibility studies, I do some of them, which kind of like quicker turnovers. So like we kind of work quite closely with the business and places team at AECOM. So they have their building development that they need to get some PV on, and that comes to us. So we use like AutoCAD and Revit to just model the solar PV on these buildings and then come up with the annual generation that way. Okay. But then there's 2 other projects that I've been in for the long haul. There's one of these projects that I've been working in since like my 2nd month starting at AECOM, and it's a larger, it's like 11, 12 megawatt ground mounted solar farm in Lancaster. And the role that AECOM is playing in that project is we are something called the owner's engineer. So we essentially kind of oversee the project. We are hired by the client to make sure that everything's running smoothly, that the program is all aligned to any problem solving that comes up. That's our call once again. And just making sure the design matches what the planning like arrangement said and what the client requirements are. So I'm very heavily involved in that project. So that's been going on for nearly 2 years now. So it's like tipping along in the background. Sometimes I'm really, really busy with that. I'm on site almost every week for that project and making sure that everything's running smoothly. But then, as I said, again, there's other projects that are quite quick turnovers. So it's a lot more satisfying to do like the design-based work of like using your AutoCAD, using your classic mechanical tools, just to get your mind thinking quickly like as an engineer. But then you've got the longer project management type style as well, which is really fun to interact between the two and just see how like it's fun to go to site to see what the design actually means, if you know what I mean. Like, so like, for example, you go to site and you see that there's loads of like undulating hills and like there's loads of like like equipment around the place, or if you're in a farmland and there's like grazing material and stuff, like you need to keep all of this into consideration when you're designing.
Yeah.
And then, for example, even if you're just designing PV on a rooftop, you need to think about all the trees around the place, all the like impacts of shading, all the impacts of the other buildings. And it's just fun when you like have the two experiences just to interact between the two. So that's been a massive learning curve just in that stuff, in that way itself. But yeah, the projects have been near and far, and it's been super varied and very fun.
Would you say that was one of your attractions to go to AECOM and work for a consultancy, that you were going to get that variation? Or was you, not saying you wasn't aware of it before, but was you aware of it as much
Absolutely,
as you
100%. So when I like applied for the job, as I said, it was just renewable energy graduate. And although I knew I was going to go into the solar team, that would be my base of work, I was also told that I could get work with the pumped hydro storage works and other kind of maybe wind turbine work that was coming through. And that's definitely been coming through the pipeline as well. Like, so anytime there's AECOM are trying to move towards a bit more work with the pumped storage hydropower schemes, but they're also kind of all on pause at the minute due to planning. But once they come through, I'm going to be straight through the door, getting that experience. And like AECOM absolutely want you to get your varied experience as well, and they're pushing me, saying when that work comes through, you're first there, you get that experience, we want you to develop in areas that you want to develop in. So everyone is very supportive in that regard. And I have a mentor in my team as well, who I like meet up with on a regular basis. We talk about the work that I'm doing, what the work I want to be doing. And yeah, it's very varied, and it can be as varied as I want it to be as well. So like, for example, if I do want to get more experience in the PV side of things, I absolutely can. And I can take that time, and I can tell my team that I want to get more work with using PV sol analysis, or like using that kind of software stuff. And then my team will find that work for me, and I'll get that job, if you know what I mean. So it's super, like, everyone is looking out for each other. Everyone's getting the work that you want to get. And it's as varied as you want it to be. Yeah.
So Jenny, when you got out and about to all these places, are you going on your own, or are you all going as a team? How does that kind of normally work out? And what's your team look like? Is it a big group of you, or?
Yes, so there's about 15 in our team.
Oh, is there? Yeah.
And at the beginning, it was always me with another senior member, because there's something like called a CSCS card that you need to have before you go on to some sites. And I didn't have that at the beginning. So in that first couple of months where I was like trying to get that CSCS card, I was always with a senior member of staff. But now it's just me. They're saying, Jenny, on Tuesday, you need to go to site, get yourself there. And then we just have this check-in sort of thing. So I tell somebody when I'm going, and I make sure that I keep them updated by the time I'm back at home, just to make sure that everyone knows where everyone is at all times. But yeah, I'm trusted to just go out, make my site inspection report, take loads and loads of pictures, and then if I have any questions or anything, I can just send a little message into the Teams group chat and say, does this look right, or is there something I need to be worried about, or any questions to flag to the project manager and stuff. So it's, yeah, you're fully trusted. But that, like, I had zero knowledge before starting. Like, I just want to reemphasize, like, everybody is daunting. It's very daunting going into the job, and you don't think you know enough. But I've only been working less than 2 years, and I now like, I have the confidence in myself to make the decisions on site, and people trust me to go to site. And it's the same with everyone in the team. Like, Jack and Callum will say that as well. Like, you are part of the team immediately, and everyone wants you to do as well as you can.
Yeah, I love that. And Jenny, where could your career go in the future then? Where would you work your way up in that team, or would you take on bigger projects? How would it look for you go forward?
Yeah, good question. I really enjoy the team that I'm in. I feel like I'd love to get more into the mechanical pump storage hydro stuff. And when that comes through, I really want to jump into that. I feel like I want to get my technical expertise in more of the mechanical side of things, even though I do have basic electrical knowledge. But I can see myself working through the project management side. I'm really enjoying that. And I feel like the growth it feels pretty natural at this point in time, and just kind of staying with the project management side for the solar stuff, and then maybe getting more technical and the nitty gritty and the fluids and the pipes and all that stuff with the mechanical hydro storage stuff. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of the projection that I want to go on at the minute.
Love it. Oh, are you still technically classed as a graduate now, or are you kind of off that?
I actually just got promoted a week ago.
Have
so
you?
technically just off the graduate program. So yeah, well, kind of as of a month ago, I was still a graduate. But
oh, congratulations! That's amazing news. So Jack, this will be you this time next year.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Oh, fantastic. Well done, Jenny. I love that. It was really interesting to hear your story as well. And Callum, come to you next, if that's okay. Yeah, similar kind of questions. Give us a bit of an insight into what you've been up to so far.
Yeah, so as transport planners, most of our clients are pretty much all of our clients are local authorities or regional transport authorities. So we do a lot of different work. We can support local councils or regional authorities with things like place plans and transport plans, and that helps them kind of put together a sort of a 10-year, 15-year goal of what they want transport to look like in their local authority in their area.
Okay.
So we can provide a lot of expertise on that to help them kind of realistically set out goals that are in line with what most of the time is Transport Scotland, the Scottish Government, their targets are, and help them stay in line with that. In terms of design work, again, as a planner, we tend to work on projects in the early stages. So it's what's called REBA stages, sort of 0 to 4. And REBA's the Royal Institute for British Architects, and they've got this thing that's like 8 stages of working, and it kind of takes you from stage 0, which is kind of defining your project and working out what it is you're actually trying to do with what you've been tasked, up to stage 8, which is where it's stage 7, sorry, where that's it put in place and people are using it. So it tends to be stage 0 to 2 that I work on, which is what concept designs. So we kind of define the project, prepare the project, and then come up with various different designs that will then go out to elected members, people in the local council, local residents, local businesses, for them to give feedback on. Because a lot of the time, I'm sitting in this office in Edinburgh, and recently I've been working on 7 different active travel routes in Dumfries and Galway over the last 6 months. And it's great looking at, you know, the resources that we have and being able to design these routes, but really going into the areas and talking to people and seeing how this route would actually affect them. It's a big part of the job. And there's another project that I'm working on at the minute in East Lothian, where back in February we took a couple of designs out. We got a lot of feedback from the community. A lot of it was positive, but there was just one small section that the people were like, for the way we live, the way this area works, this small section will not work for us. So now we've gone back over the last couple of months. We've redesigned a couple of other options, and they're going back out again over the next couple of weeks. So that's been quite an interesting thing to kind of see that progression of that 0 to 2 stage and how these concept designs can change over time. In terms of a project that's on the ground that people can go away and look at, because I'm so early in the job, I've only got one at the minute, and it's called the Leith Connections Project in Edinburgh. And what we've done there is basically we've put in lots of improvements to help to try and reduce the level of traffic and provide safer spaces for people who want to walk, wheel or cycle, and to try and take advantage of Leith's natural environment, because there's a lot of it's on the coast. You've got the docks, you've got the water Leith as well, so it's trying to take advantage of that and making it more of a space for people rather than a space for traffic. And a lot of that's been constructed over the last couple of years, and we're still progressing on that one. So that's been a nice project to be involved in as well, and to see how what we do in the office and what we're designing and what we're putting out to people, and then seeing how that works.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that, and it probably sounds like a bit of a stupid comment that I'm going to make, but to say you 3 are doing completely different roles, but how much it affects everyone else. Do you see what I mean? And going into that environment and seeing, okay, well, what I'm doing, how is it going to affect, in your case, Jenny, you know, agricultural land, for example, right the way through to Callum and what you're doing, through to Jack, what you're doing as well. But I don't know why that's a bit of a shock to me. But you can't just come up with all these ideas in the office and then expect them to work and not go and see it and see where it's actually going to be in real life. I think, it's nice that you get that, I guess, that chance to build something, get creative with something, and then see it in real life and think, is it going to work in this environment? Super exciting. Callum, do you do anything in terms of, you know, when you're obviously new regulations coming in all the time? You know, is it like, I'm just thinking about the future really of transport and things like that, and electric vehicles and everything else. Are you thinking towards anything like that? Does that affect your designs and your thoughts a lot?
Yeah, it's always changing. But there's been times where I've been in the middle of writing a report, and we have to do like policy reviews as part of the report, and the government have changed their targets or changed the policy in the middle of us publishing something, and we need to go back and re-review it and adjust it for what that policy change is, and then put it back out again, and then you'll find 3 weeks later that's out of date because they've changed their minds again. But yeah, I think this kind of goes for all of us, and not just transport, that it's a constantly evolving industry. You're always learning. Like there's people who have lots of experience, and they can be in the job for 40 years and they're still learning something new. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about working in this industry, is the fact that like you will never know everything, and there's always something to keep going for and keep striving for.
Yeah, I love that. Brilliant. Thank you, Callum. Jack, I'm going to come back to you on the next question, if that's okay, because I want to make sure there's enough time to talk to everyone about the application process. But have you been involved so far, I suppose, as more of a recent graduate, in any kind of social aspects of the graduate journey so far? And if so, what?
Yeah, so day 2 on the job, I was playing fives. We play fives every Tuesday at work. 5-a-side football, sorry.
Oh, right.
And that is organised as part of the Sports and Social initiative at AECOM, which Jenny, I think, has recently had more to do in the organisation of, Jenny.
Yeah. So every office, every AECOM office has a sports and social club. Basically, people who work in the office, they can contribute roughly £2 a month, and then AECOM will match that money. And so the sports and social club has this pot, and we organize like the 5-a-side football weekly, like paddle. I'm actually organizing yoga every week, and then we also have like monthly bigger activities. Like, so for example, this month we actually did an escape room, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, really, really good. And then last month we went paintballing, which is really good as well. But yeah, it's great. It's like very interactive. Everyone is super friendly and gets super involved, and there's usually something for everyone as well. So like if you want to do something new, you can just like pose it into the club, and usually it just gets organized. So
I love that.
I think there's like a murder mysteries night or some there's been board game things in the past as well. So it's really, there's something for like everybody. It's such the matching thing is like, it pays for football. So if I do another thing like the go-karting, then that's free.
That's a good idea, isn't it? It kind of encourages you then, doesn't it? Sometimes it is easy just to say no and not bother, but actually that's a really good idea. I love that.
The office itself is like, but the office itself is like super social. Like in our like main area of the kitchen, like there's a pool table, and then there's a darts board, and there's actually a Nintendo Switch as well. So it's hilarious. But yeah, everyone is like playing the pool table, and like there's pool tournaments that have been set up and things. So, but yeah, super social. Very nice.
I love that. And is that the same for you, Callum? Oh God, Jack, sorry, I keep interrupting you.
I was just saying, like, the office. Team ones, office ones, so it is a good laugh.
I missed that first bit you said.
Oh, sorry, there's also, aside to the sports and social, there's quite a lot of socials, generally just like nights out, team nights out, office nights out. So we went to the Top Golf driving range as the last office night out. I'm sure there'll be a Christmas party, which we're waiting to hear on.
That, Jack. Who's responsible for the Christmas party? Is it Jenny?
No, not me.
Jenny's like, I've got enough fun with the sports.
Yeah, it's the office. The office team are well into that, but they're actually organizing a Halloween party next Thursday. So
it's Halloween.
Yeah, dress up involved. Yeah, full works. Yeah.
I love it. Great. Well done, guys.
Yeah.
Right, Carla, let's hand back to you and Jackie and find out a bit more about the application process.
Fantastic, thank you. I don't know, Callum, did you have anything to add about socialising, things like that at your office?
Though, just to kind of echo, it's much the same here in Edinburgh as it is in Glasgow. Our transport team as well, we're kind of, I don't know how the other disciplines work, but we're quite a small group. So we're kind of based in Edinburgh, Glasgow and Aberdeen. And we all went through Glasgow a couple of weeks ago to kind of do went to some darts place and throw some darts on food, have some drinks. So yeah, it's very, very social. We've also got like an early careers group here in the Edinburgh office. I don't know if they do the same thing in Glasgow. They do what's called fortnightly functions. And it just gives graduates a chance to kind of go sit all together, graduates from lots of different disciplines. And every week, one of the graduates presents a project that they're working on. And it just kind of gives everyone a bit of an insight into kind of what AECOM does. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it's quite an interesting thing to kind of sit and hear about people who've worked on waterworks, or like what Jenny was saying, like things like solar farms, and some people work on defence projects, and yeah, it's quite exciting.
It's lovely that you've all got. Yeah, I was just going to say that it's lovely that you've got your own communities, and it is a good way to network as well. I think Jenny's writing that idea down, so that'll be probably launched in the Glasgow office sometime soon.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, good idea. Jack's claimed it as his. So perfect. Thank you very much, Callum, and thank you all for your stories and what you've worked on. It's been absolutely amazing. So Jackie, I want to come back to you. So we've mentioned there's opportunities currently on the AECOM hub on Gradcracker which are live, and there's some which are still going to be made live in the next coming weeks. So don't forget to follow on Gradcracker to be alerted to the new opportunities, or apply to the ones which are currently live and on there. So when a student clicks on the application link on Gradcracker, Jackie, what are the next stages?
Okay, we've 3 stages. The first stage is just a short application form, completed online, which basically covers availability, location, why you want to work in that particular field, and about work experience, why you want to work in the sector. And you have the option to upload a cover letter and CV, which is helpful to myself, to recruiters, because we get more of a flavour about what you're about and what you want to do. So you can apply to more than one role, as mentioned, as many as you like, but make sure that you tailor your application to that role. We will ask about preferences, as in location preferences, and you have the option to select which offices you'd be interested in working. If you can be flexible, fantastic. That may open up more opportunities, because, as I've said before, we are a multidisciplined organisation with lots of specialisms in lots of different offices. So yeah, if you can be flexible, please do state that. You'll have the option. There's also the use of free text, so that we can understand a little bit more about you. You can give us a bit of an insight into what you know about us, the projects, your technical knowledge, what your chartership hopes are, if that's the route that you're looking to go down, and why that's important to you. It's your chance to basically demonstrate your uniqueness. So don't use AI if you can to churn that out for you. We need to see your uniqueness. Match yourself to the job description, include any societies, any work experience, any community work that you've done. If you're a helper, if you're a support worker, anything that you've got that you can add on there that brings out that experience and gives us that evidence. If you look up our values, you can see how they sit with you, and you can demonstrate that in terms of what kind of fit and what you can bring to the organisation. So really, research, passion and enthusiasm. We get a lot of applications coming through, and I don't want that to put anybody off applying, but you really need to use your uniqueness to stand out and match yourself to what we're looking for with that role and that job.
Yeah, perfect.
That's stage 1. So stage 2 is then an assessment test. It's a behavioural and cognitive assessment. It's designed to understand how applicants behave in and approach a range of situations. So as well as assessing their kind of logical reasoning skills, we we're picking up on almost everything. We've consulted nearly 500 employees across the business to identify the key behaviours and the cognitive skills that our early careers need for them to be successful and for them to thrive at AECOM. So it's designed to be inclusive, it's not timed, and it's a global assessment that's been rolled out across many of our regions. We don't need you to overthink it. We just need you to go with your gut instinct. And I think it's quite a fun, interesting assessment. And we give you feedback. We give you feedback as to how you've performed. So we're not just taking from you, we're trying to give you something back to help you develop. The next stage is an interview. So if you pass the assessment test, you'll be invited to an interview, which may be via Teams or it may be in person. And you may be asked some behavioural and technical questions. Normally there's about 2 or 3 viewers on that panel of interviewing. We do try to prepare you. So when we send you an invite to an interview, we'll give you some guidance and tips on your interview invite and the links on things to look up, like our early careers brochure, which, as I've said, is also on your Gradcracker hub. So yeah, use those hints and tips. At that interview, we're looking for you to sort of demonstrate your research, show the team, your technical work. Have 4 or 5 questions ready. Some, you may already have answered in that interview, but there may be some that you haven't. So have that selection. Try and relax. Even easier if you're in a kind of a Teams environment, I think. My recommendation, hold a glass of water, have that to hand, and if you need a moment to pause, stop, sip, give yourself a breather, maybe hold a pen, be comfortable, and bring some notes that can help you to prepare and show that you're interested. We do recruit on a rolling basis, so once a role is filled, it's filled, but we also recruit on the rolling basis in terms of a start date as well. So while we're looking to bring everybody in within that academic year, we quite often can be a bit flexible about start times. So it's not everybody joining at the same time. Most of our graduates are on board by September, but we can be kind of flexible if somebody wants to go off traveling, as long as it aligns with the project and the work that's coming in. If they need to go and do a little bit of traveling beforehand, if they've got their graduation ceremony and they don't want to join before their graduation ceremony and so forth. So there's a little bit of flexibility there. And once you are on board with us, our roles are generally hybrid. We would expect anybody that was a graduate to be in the office at least, I think it's kind of roughly about 3 times a week. But that can change depending on the team that you're working with and the project that's coming through. But you need to recognise that you need that development and that mentoring. You need your buddy. So that's why we try and get you in the office a little bit more than some more experienced members of the team, just to get that learning on board.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've given lots of hints and tips there, Jackie, about how people can be successful going through the application process, which is really valuable to our students who are watching. So, you'll have seen many success stories over the years of the grads and how they've been successful. You just look at these 3 here now in front of us today. But
love it.
I can tell by the way you're just smiling at the stories. I'm smiling. But what commonalities do, is that actually a word? I've just made it up, but what commonalities do your graduates, interns have about how they can be successful? So what do you look for? What are the successful students like?
Do you mean on the CV when we're looking at an application?
On the CV or when they start at AECOM, anything.
Okay. We've got a lot of individuals that have joined the company and signed up to be STEM ambassadors. They've got an allocated like 2 social value days per year that they can take and use it to their advantage. So that's a really nice thing to see. It's lovely when we go along to our career events and we take our graduates with them. So just like Callum, Jenny and Jack, they can talk about a day in their life and what the projects they're working on and what they're experiencing. So many enthusiastic and passionate individuals, like the 3 people we have here, but many others in the company, and that kind of shines through in the applications that you see. You can see that from the experience or the examples that individuals have given. So and also why they want to work for that particular specialism, what they've done to try and get to that point. So yeah, they're the kind of things that stand out that we look for. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Jackie. Sorry to put you on the spot there with that
Okay.
question. I can just see the enthusiasm coming out of you as well. So it's really good to hear, you know, your experiences. So now what I'd like to do is come back and speak to the graduates about specific parts of the application process and their career journeys. And Jack, I'm coming to you first because I know you used Gradcracker extensively to find your job at AECOM, which is really good to hear. So what specifically did you like about Gradcracker or the AECOM hub that you used to be successful with your application process?
Yes, so I think the Gradcracker website is just a great central database of every single grad job that's out there. I think you're going to be pretty pushed to find an opportunity which is not advertised on Gradcracker. So it's just such a handy resource to have. You can filter on like locations. So for instance, I really wanted to stay in Scotland in the Central Belt, so Edinburgh and Glasgow I was filtering or nearby. I also knew I wanted to put my degree to use, so I can filter out things which I'm not interested in, and I can choose things that I'm interested in. And then, you know, it starts bringing up opportunities which I maybe have heard of, companies like AECOM. I won't mention the competitors, but there's maybe other companies that you haven't heard of, and you can go and you can very clearly see when the dates close, and you can go and you can find AECOM, for instance, and we can say, okay, water mechanical engineer, click on that, we can click on AECOM, and then we can see all the other job listings that AECOM has. So I did find that certainly job applications are really quite a time-consuming thing, which in your final year, if you're doing this at uni, that is, it's basically a full-time job. Applying to jobs is really a lot, and Gradcracker I really did think did help streamline that, smoothing it out whilst writing my dissertation. So I would use it, and then you obviously can link through to AECOM's website, and there's so much stuff on Gradcracker and AECOM website that, yeah, as Jackie mentioned, probably have a wee think about what you like about the company, what about the role, wee bit about researching what the company does, and think about some questions. As always, they go down well in interviews. But it does give like a really good summary, so it tells me like for this job that I applied to, it told me exactly what I had to have. It told me exactly what I would be doing on a day-to-day, and you know, there's things there. Okay, I'm a university student. I didn't really understand all of those things, but you know, they're good questions to be asking. What exactly is that in the interview? So yeah, cheers.
Well, that makes me and Jessica very proud as well. Thank you, Jack. So it's a really good point that Jack made there as well about being able to filter by like deadlines and things like that. It is a time of year now where there are quite a few deadlines approaching, so make sure you don't miss out on that perfect opportunity. You know, filter the search by deadlines as well, so you can find out which opportunity you need to apply for sooner rather than later. So thank you, Jack. Callum, next stage, Jackie mentioned this, was the interview stage. So any hints and tips about what you did to be successful during that stage of the application process?
Yeah, I think what I quite liked about my AECOM interview, and I don't know if this is something that's applied across all disciplines or if this is just transport specific, but I was given sort of like a map with this imaginary town that had like a couple of like, holiday locations, train station, airport, stuff like that, and I was asked to just design a very high level transport network for this little town. And what that did for me was it gave me, I knew that there was going to be at least 20 minutes of my interview where I knew exactly what I was going to be talking about. And that just, for me, that helped to calm the nerves a lot. Because I think in any interview setting, it's going to be nerve-wracking. So that for me was a great thing, and also can force you to take the time to prepare. Sometimes you can leave it to the last minute, but with something like that, you need to kind of sit down and take the time with it. So that I thought that was a really good thing about my interview. And then the rest of the interview after that was really quite laid back, which I think was down to the people who interviewed me. And I mean that in a good way, because it gave it showed you the personalities you were going to be working with. It was very much like just sitting down, talking to people that I'd known for years about something we were all interested in, because we're all transport people. So yeah, I think that structure of the AECOM interview was really positive. Like we said, when you're a graduate, you're applying here, there, and everywhere. And I had interviews at other places, and the AECOM interview definitely stood out to me compared to other places I had interviewed at, and it made me want to get the job more than I did before I'd applied for it. So yeah, in terms of hints and tips, again, it's cliched, and I feel like I've just brought out cliches throughout this whole webinar, but like, honestly, be yourself. I think one of the things that Jackie mentioned at the start, when she was giving an overview of AECOM, and what makes AECOM stand out is the people. And like, it's very clear that everyone here is such a welcoming and warm environment, and everyone's got their own unique personalities that bring something different to the team. So, and you might be tempted to kind of try and put a brave face on because you're going in for an interview, this corporate job, and it's scary. But like, just honestly, be yourself. I couldn't stress it enough, because I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you made a really good point there, Callum, about the project that I had to present on in your interview as well. That's 20 minutes that you know that you can prepare for. You know, it's kind of in the bag, isn't it? You've done your research. You know it's your project that you've been working on. So that's a really good point that you've made there, Callum. Thank you. And finally, Jenny, so once you've got the job, once you have been successful, hints and tips for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure. I guess my situation might be a little bit different in that mechanical engineering background, electrical engineering. So my first couple of weeks leading up to getting the job was very much heavy on the YouTube. What does a transformer do? What doesn't it do? So very high level, trying to get to grips with some very basic electrical terms. But then I guess once I started the job, making sure that I was, as Jackie said, going into the office as much as I can, because it's super important. That's where you meet people, and everyone is incredibly friendly. It's where you become comfortable. You become comfortable asking those silly questions that also don't exist. But yeah, definitely like using all of the AECOM University tools that was there. AECOM also has something called technical practice grips, and they're kind of like an overview of loads of topics, literally every single topic under the sun that you are interested in if you're working in, and they just are senior principal people in AECOM talking about a subject that they know everything about. So you just pick up little things here and there. So many resources, trying to fill your time with learning, asking questions, and just shadowing people as well. Like, remember Jackie saying you have a buddy, you're assigned a buddy once you start, and this person basically is there to help you navigate all of the AECOM systems, help you navigate how to find files, how to find projects, how to use any of the templates that are available, just to make your life easier. But yeah, it's you're kind of handheld at the first couple of weeks, for sure. Like there was no point where I was alone or like was scrabbling for what to do. There was always something that I could do, always something I could look up, and then I was quickly put on my first project, and I'm still on that project. So it's it's good. It's been good. Yeah,
fantastic. And enjoy yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Play pool when you can. Yes.
Play pool, have fun, go and play 5-a-side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Jenny. And thank you everybody for joining us today. It's been an amazing insight into AECOM, who they are, what they do, and the amazing opportunities you can apply for this year on Gradcracker. So to reiterate, finally, the opportunities, some of the opportunities are live, so go and apply for those, and follow AECOM on Gradcracker to be alerted to when the new opportunities go live as well. Don't forget, you can as well mention to Jackie and Jackie's team that you've watched this webinar. Again, it shows you've done your research, you've got an interest in working for the company as well, and you've heard about all of these graduate journeys, which have been absolutely amazing. So thank you, AECOM, for joining us. Me and Jess are back on Monday, so join us at 2 o'clock, and we're joined by Unilever. So you'll have heard of their famous brands such as Radox, Lynx, Vaseline, just to name a few. So join us then. But for today, thank you very much, AECOM, and good luck, everybody, and see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.